Okay, it's your boy Kamal Hart on the chart, and we're going bar by bar. It's January 15th. You know what it is. So, off the bat, it's a little early. Let's get this thing about 5:15, 5:30. I like that. So, it's funny, during the session, you will see things completely different during session. But that's why we do the review to reinforce what's correct and review what we did. But I see an uptrend, probably going up maybe through there. Now, this isn't a convincing breakout side, but maybe. So we're going to wait to see if we get any breaks and retest higher. And it doesn't. It completely shoots down. So um, there's no reversal pattern, but this is a strong trend, a breakout trend. So I want to respect it. I definitely want to get a line on it. I like to wait for that reversal pattern, but this too strong. So we'll make sure I get something there. That's the lower high, but it's too big of a signal bar or too big of a trigger bar, and that makes this the signal bar. Nah, I can't take that one. And we start to get a pullback, and then I was looking for a retest of the lows, given that we had this trend line, and then the break below here is going to be a failed second entry long. And when I saw this bar, I thought this might get the job done. Just a retest of these lows here. So I entered right there. Um, Key point, I didn't really notice at the time. Maybe my bars were a little different in my session, but prices closed back inside of this bar. So right there, I'm thinking, okay, maybe I need a scratch. But I didn't do that. But had I could have maybe saved myself a loss because it would have ticked one and then boom. Basically, I had this thing 2 ticks above my entry bar. Usually I'm 1 tick above my signal bar, but I've been tightening my stops to 2 ticks below or above my entry bar. That's why I'm out right there. So not a big loss. Kept that one in check. All good. Um, I think at this point though, there's like a range at least here, and then possibly the highs. I'm not so clear on the highs though, but probably here, probably say there. So let's see what happens. Of course, I'm not sure how to manage this pullback because I could either see this as we had a leg, a breakout, move to a new low, so that works, or I'm still waiting on that reversal pattern. Um, but what I'll do is I'm just going to start respecting every micro trend I find simply because it was below the EMA, it's closing above the EMA, and it's made a swing high, swung past the previous high. So I'm just going to go ahead and give that a channel. Probably, oh man, that's a bummer. Gotta watch out for that. So probably there. So it continues to move higher. Now, when I was trading, I didn't use that micro trend because I was waiting on like a technical reversal pattern of the sort. So when it got up here, I was thinking range, and when it breaks below, that's a second entry short off this low, right? First entry, second entry. So that's what led me to take this. I already knew this is an aggressive trade. I had no illusions about this being aggressive, so I was okay with that. But you can tell it didn't close the way I wanted it to. So I had my stop just 2 ticks above, and we got a push down but then on this next bar it surged up. So I got stopped out again right there. Now, this one was definitely aggressive. I can kind of live with this trade. Just depends on how you see this micro trend. But this one for sure was aggressive. I could have skipped that one and saved myself a few $100s. So moving along. Next, I'm still kind of playing this range, which I should be playing the channel, but I'm still playing this range. That's been burning me all week, but here I am playing the range. So we got this double top right there. Breaks higher. See a lot of congestion. And now we get that lower move. And it's steadily kind of ticking higher. But I'm still looking at this range like, okay, maybe I need to be getting short up here. So when I see this lower high, and it's a second entry short to these double bottoms, although there's not enough room to exit. So that's probably the major mistake, is that, first of all, there's not enough room to those lows to validate that second entry short. And then two, this bar closes inside of that bar and closes inside of that bar. So really, there's already been congestion, but at this point, I'm selling the breakout of a little micro congestion area. I don't want to be going short there. So there's a couple issues with that trade, just off the strength of what I described, that you know, I just saw that. I saw this wrong. So I entered there. The entry bar is the same as my signal bar, so I just had to stop one above, and the next bar get ticked out. So it's really no big deal. I could have definitely avoided these two trades. That would have made a big difference on my P&L for the day. But it's okay. But what I will start to do is I need to take better note of prices moving through this EMA if I'm going to start selling the range. I need to see prices move through that EMA. That just gives me that last bit of confirmation I need. And had I have had, another thing to note as well is that once it broke above right here, these two bars, that's a breakout pullback. It breaks out of the range, pulls back, and keeps going. So right there, I see more congestion more than anything, but technically there's a breakout pullback right there. So I need to be extra careful about going short because prices are showing us that it's trying to go higher. So at this point, I took this as a sign, is that, okay, I think everything's been up lately. The market has been so bullish. This market is probably trying to go higher. And off these double bottoms, I kind of took this as a failed second entry short. From here, it went higher once, pulls back, higher twice, pulls back. Then once it breaks again above, I was like, okay, I think we're gonna test higher. So what I did is I essentially just reversed that trade. I got stopped out there, and then I re-entered one tick lower just on these bars right there. And then I took this measured move and I just brought it to the to like this low, and basically I had a long target, somewhere up here. So I entered long right there. Takes a little bit, but then we kind of shoot off. So I get my scalp. I stop one more contract. And now I'm just holding. My stop is one tick below there. I'm still holding. And I exited here. So at the time, my chart looked a little different, but that happens. Essentially, this bar had broken below and came pretty close to the highs, and then it broke above on that bar and then reversed, so it just stopped me out one tick. It all ends up being the same. This is like a double bottom, so I probably would have moved my stop below this double bottom anyway. I did make a mistake though because I exited this trade on the first exit signal. I like to wait for at least 2 exit signals. So I would have already had that swing low, and now I'm going to be waiting for a reversal pattern or a close below the EMA. And those are for sure my exits after I get at least 1. So I was a little early on that, but I had already locked in a decent amount of money and earned back some of these losses. So I didn't want to fool around too much with it. And honestly, it doesn't really matter that much because we get a nice push here. And kind of like a second push there, I would have really considered going long there. But at this point, you know, my exit is up here. So I'm not out yet. And I think after this bar, see right there, we get the close below the EMA. So I was only off by 2 or 3 ticks anyway. I would have tried to exit right here on the line, so that could have been maybe 3 ticks. But if I would have just exited on the close, that's only 2 ticks. So it ends up not being a big difference. That's just back to that whole like being greedy. Being greedy doesn't usually pay off any. So um, so I'm just waiting on that. At this point though, I'm looking at this red breakout trend. I got to give this a line because we're above, we're below, swing past the previous low. So I'm into that. And essentially, this plays out pretty perfectly because we get the breakout side, and then a move to a new low. Now, right here is the failed second entry long. There's a lot of bullish momentum. So I'm not saying you should ignore this trade, but with all this bullish momentum, I'm not really looking to go short too quickly. And then another thing that makes this trade a little aggressive is that this trade set up at a spot where we already had a breakout and a move to a new low. So it gets risky trying to continue to go short after that breakout retest pattern. So on this very next bar, it breaks 1 tick and then closes high. If you entered that, you're looking to scratch this trade just based off of the way this bar closed. Maybe a tick or 2 ticks, whatever it ends up being. But it really doesn't give it to you. So you would have either been stopped out 1 tick above this bar or 2 ticks above that bar. And, you know, it would have been a small loss, but you would just probably have to swallow that. Only for it to really come back down. But if you are trading this the way the rules say, you would have gotten stopped out on this move. So don't look at this and think that there was something there that you could have maybe gotten. You would have been stopped out right here if you're trading correctly. So it doesn't go far. Now, when this bar breaks above, it's a little aggressive just because it moved lower than this low, but I'm looking to buy that right there. In this one, we're just looking to see if we're going to get a test of the highs. That's a failed second entry short right there. And that one shoots off. That's a good trade. You're still not out yet. Gonna wait for a swing low. Although you might be out. If your target was just the highs, then you might be out. It just depends on what your target was for this. But I'd probably still be in. Here's the higher low, but we're too close to the highs. Here's the failed second entry, but that's at the highs. That's too aggressive. Yeah, that doesn't really do anything for you. And you can see we're going sideways now. So if you're stuck in that trade, you just want to try to find your best exit possible. And hopefully you didn't take that trade. Otherwise, I'm just seeing some congestion right through there. This is a nice looking bar off these double bottoms, but everything's higher. I'm not going to give this more weight than the bull trend. In fact, I kind of see it like this, possibly. That we have the highs up here, and there's potentially another trend just through there. And then we could have our midline be, yeah, just about there. So that fits pretty good. So really what I want to see, so even though, I mean, I don't know, this is an aggressive place to go short, but I want to see this pull back to this side and maybe try to get long. You would have, I don't think you would have scalped out though on that 25. Yeah, scalped out by one tick and then stopped out probably on your runner. So pretty much a break-even trade. That's why if you were, I mean, it was a lower high as well, but it's just not, it's not really what you want to wait for. Here's what we're looking for though. We get that big move down. Let's respect this. Well, two things. There's not a breakout pullback pattern yet, so but the fact that we have 3 bars, 4 bars like that, just all super bearish, I just want to make sure I keep in mind that this could break, retest this low before coming higher. So I just want to keep myself in the right mental state about this. And so pulls back there, but it doesn't give us much. This is an okay trade. It's a little aggressive because this hasn't played out. But then again, what we're expecting more so is a retest of this range area, maybe the high side area. So I'm going to say that this is aggressive. I'm not sure if this works, but I'm going to say this is aggressive. But you could possibly take this trade. It doesn't look too hot though. And that doesn't stop you out. So maybe if you can get out break even, maybe you're into that. And then looks like it still doesn't stop you out. Here though, it's going too sideways to take this failed second entry. But this is at least a good sign that this trade triggered. But it's too sideways to buy this. If it was just a little better setup, I'd probably add on right there. But it's a little too sideways. I would just wait. And there it goes. That one takes off. Then look where we get that nice bear reversal bar right there on our trend line. That's a good sign. So now we're waiting. Look at that double top. That's really nice. So if we get one more push higher that fails, I want to sell that. That was almost it, but it didn't actually break higher than any bar, so I had to wait. And then now we're back at this trend line. So I'll see like right here. Oh man, real aggressive. This is really aggressive. I have to skip it unfortunately, but that's basically what we're waiting on. But just given the context, we're going right into that trend channel. It could touch that and or shoot off again. And it's not even that close to the EMA or anything, so just gotta wait. Yeah, see exactly what happens right there. It does break below, then immediately reverses and then stops you out. That's not where you want to go. In fact, really the trade is this. This is a higher low at the trend channel. Do you get enough to scalp out? 25. Not yet. There you go. Right there. So really, that's the trade, And then you look at this trade. This is a second entry long. These highs become one high. The double top becomes one high. So first entry pulls back, and then once it breaks above this bar, second entry. So this is that's a textbook trade. That's a textbook trade right there. Easy move. Doesn't go far though, but you get the scalp and a little bit more. Here's a failed second entry short. I'll go long there as well. A little bit weird that this is an inside bar. This green bar is an inside bar. That's a little bit suspect. I'd try to go long there, and it doesn't go far. Stops you out. With this one, your best bet is that you just were 2 ticks below, so you got stopped out quick. But not a real way to get out. I mean, it was just suspect that this was an inside bar. That was an okay setup. Just it didn't play out. So we have this big engulfing bar. It's kind of a second entry long. I'm gonna wait on that lower high or something. And it doesn't come. And now we're kind of, there's definitely a downtrend. I'm just not sure how I want to approach it. I'm not sure if we're gonna approach it like this, where there's a leg down, a pullback. Now there's kind of like a couple legs down. I think that's the best way to approach it. And then what I'll do is just measure this leg 1 and then see how close to that measured move we get. We go right to it and past it. So this is definitely a stronger trend than we anticipated. I really want to take my time today because these charts have been they've been a little messy, not gonna lie. They've been hard to read. So I want to really do my due diligence on these. So one thing that I do see is that if you do the range expansion, that gets you right in there. So there's a high possibility that this is just a two-tiered range. I'm not sure how to chart this breakout leg yet. I think the most simple thing I can do is just go off these highs. See, but you see how if I go off the first 2 swings, it doesn't really hold prices there. And then if I go off those swings, it makes it that this isn't really confirmed because there's only 2 touches here and here. So it's a little bit weird to chart this for me. So when it gets weird, I just chart the breakout. So essentially, I'm just going to look for breakout, retest of the low. Starting to get a breakout, but it's mainly moving sideways. You get the retest of the low there. Pulling back. See, and then like there was a second entry short, but you couldn't have traded that based off the setup. That didn't set up correctly. Really just a nasty day. I only trade this for the reviews, but I mean, if I was actually trading, I'd probably just be sitting on my hands. There's no reason to force anything. So I kind of see this congestion, and we broke out to the low side, pulling back. So this is a breakout pullback. This is just the first entry to the lows. There's not really, this is a double, is this a double top? Double top. So this becomes a single high, pullback. It's too messy. It's too hard to read. I was thinking about going short right there, but it's a little too hard to read, so I'm gonna skip it. In fact, here's a higher low. I should probably go long right there. Doesn't go far. See how we're just going sideways like that? I don't like that. And then this bar is just a first entry to this high. It's a failed break lower there. It's a double bottom there. But it's going right into that EMA. Really, we need to be thinking short anyway, so I'm skipping that as well. See, it doesn't go far, and then it just, reverses. And then once it reverses, you can't use this as your signal bar either. So it's just kind of a nasty day. Nasty day for trading if you're trying to trade all this. I'm just going to wait until we get a breakout or something. So there's a breakout. Just the first entry to the high. Nothing there. I'm going to move this down a little bit. Then once again, there's a second entry short right there, but not a good setup, so you can't take it. Okay, now we're getting that breakout. Let's see if we get a breakout pullback. That'd be nice. So like right there. If this breaks below, I'm considering going short just because of this high. First entry fails, second entry, if it fails, that might be a good trade. Never breaks below, so this trade never triggered. I don't know if it breaks below here, I don't know if I like it anymore. It doesn't break below, and see how it comes all the way to the highs, so that trade is no longer valid. I think what we can do though is just try to get these micro lines on there, see if that helps us any. But really, I'm not seeing. I mean, there's no good setups in here. This is barbed wire. There really aren't any good setups. You just have to let this play out. See how I like how this trend line is holding though. Even all the way up here. Might get like a breakout pullback. See, it finally ticks below, but prices are going sideways. Get the pullback. Ooh, that looks so nice. Only thing I'm thinking is that it could possibly be like a breakout pullback to this range area. So it broke out the low, and now we're going to go test at least this lower side. We have this trend. This is the first breakout side. Only 8 minutes left in the day, so if you're really, really aggressive, maybe you're going to look at that, try to buy this. Let's see if this works. Yeah, so you get that test. Is that enough for a scalp though? 25. Yeah, you get the scalp, and that's it. That is it on that. So really just kind of like, it's kind of a shit day. I'm not even gonna lie. Not that many great trades, and even in here while we were playing the range didn't really help us much. Then it got held up in here for an hour and a half. Not that great. Trading today wasn't that great. That takes us into 12 o'clock. So get a little scalp there, but nothing much. But yeah, today was a losing day for me. I mean, it was just a hard day to trade in general, but I'm really focused on not my P&L, but making sure that if I have a losing day, I don't take more than 4 trades. And you can see I only took 4 trades today. So I'm super proud about that. I know that I can win. When it's time for me to win and hit some really nice trades, I can get them. But what I need to work on more is on my losing days, not letting them get out of hand. That alone is going to make me like 100% more profitable. So I'm pretty happy. Just real controlled trades. Two of them I could have done without. It's okay. I'll live with that. But I kept it under 4 or under 5. Um, that's that's really important to me. That's what I saw today. Man, just I don't know. Not that great of a trading day. Hopefully tomorrow's a little better. But until then, we'll see what tomorrow brings. But Kamal Hart is out. Peace.